All right, the Indianapolis Colts with Josh Downs and Joe Flacco throwing the ball to Josh Downs, and even Michael Pittman got in the end zone again. He scored. And so Flacco, we talked about him last week. He's just better for this offense. It's crazy. But specifically today, are you jumping on the Josh Downs bandwagon? 9 catches, 69 yards. He's averaging over 16 points per game in the 3 games that he's played coming off of injury. He was my guy last year. I'm on the bandwagon. What about you?
I think so. I'd rather get on the Josh Downs bandwagon than the Alec Pierce bandwagon for sure. The reality is with this team that if Anthony Richardson is healthy, he's going to start. And I think that'll be true for the rest of the season. He is the future there, no matter how well Flacco plays. And that just means when he's the starter, you won't be able to trust any of these receivers, really. But if Flacco is starting, for sure, I'm putting Downs in my starting lineup. And the thing about both of these guys is that Anthony Richardson can still throw a big, long bomb down the field, and that could salvage your day with a Josh Downs or an Alex Pierce. So, yeah, I think I'm tentatively on the Downs bandwagon.
All right, let's stay with receivers. Last night, Juju Smith-Schuster out of nowhere. What a performance. And guess what, Trip? I picked him up before the weekend, so he was on my bench. But I did jump on his bandwagon, and I'll say this. Now I'll try to trade him.
Yeah, that's probably the best course of action.
That would be my hope. So I thought, let me just roll the dice and see what wide receiver ends up catching some passes this week. I think it's going to be different every week. You can't really rely on any of those guys necessarily. I mean, Worthy even, it's like he's not putting up big numbers every week. You just can't count on him, even though he's kind of an exciting player. So I'm going to say I'm kind of off the bandwagon with Chiefs wide receivers and running backs for that matter, just because I just don't – it's just too inconsistent. It's great for the Chiefs, but not necessarily for fantasy.
I think I might say that I'm on the Juju bandwagon.
Oh, okay.
I thought that Juju for sure was – I was going to go look at his player profile, and he was going to be like 32 years old. He's 27 years old.
Really?
There was a time.
Wow.
I know. Isn't it crazy? It feels like he's been around forever.
Man.
There was a time in Dynasty that Juju was the #1 wide receiver overall. Now, that was a long time ago, okay? But Juju,
really?
You remember his second season, he was wide receiver 8 with the Steelers. I mean, Juju, supposedly he's just kind of an immature guy, spends a lot of time playing video games,
he's
right?
27.
Like, yeah, maybe he's finally grown up, but I do think 2 seasons ago, he got a really bad concussion towards the end of the season, but he was starting to put things together with Patrick Mahomes before that concussion. And I think that he might just step into the Rashee Rice role. And I think he could be a startable guy for you the rest of the season. It sounds like Rice is officially out for the rest of the season. The LCL he's got to get surgery. And I think Juju might just slot into that role and be a short-term solution for the Chiefs. And he's been with Mahomes long enough that they've got a little bit more of a connection than he does with Xavier Worthy and some of these other guys. So I think I might be in on Juju. He might be my top waiver priority this week if he's on waivers. I mean,
okay, you may have convinced me. I don't know. I might be convinced. Maybe I'll hang on to him.
It could be rough next week. Are they on bye this week? No, I don't know if they are. I think they might be on bye this week. But yeah. Juju, I think I'm cautiously optimistic about what the rest of his season might look like.
All right. We'll give it to you. All right. Let me run through a few names.
They are on bye. The Chiefs are on bye. So you got to wait a week to see what happens.
Yeah. You have to claim them this week, though.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of waiver wire, I am jumping on the bandwagon. Ty Chandler, Aaron Jones going down. People dropped him the last couple of weeks because he hasn't been a part of the offense because Jones has been playing well. And I missed and whiffed on getting any Vikings players this year by choice. I didn't want Vikings players, but through 5 weeks, I look foolish. But Ty Chandler's a guy that I would like to go target on waiver wire. Last year, final 4 weeks of the year, he averaged 16 touches for 82 yards and a touchdown each week. So there's a little bit of a history there and getting a part of that offense. I'm also jumping on the bandwagon, Jordan Whittington. This kills me because a couple weeks ago I got a tip, a fantasy guy that I listened to. Hey, go pick him up. I picked him up. He didn't do anything for a couple weeks. I dropped him, and then he finally had his breakout week. 7 receptions, 89 yards. Really back-to-back weeks with at least 6 catches. So he's good for the Rams, even with Cooper Kupp coming back. But he's on a bye week, so you might be able to snag him if other people need a player this week. If you can wait on him, he's somebody to wait on. So I'm jumping on his bandwagon. And then Tank Bigsby. We've had the toughest time with the Jaguars this week, but I ended up going against you